Okay, please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Abdul Asquith. I'm 25 years old, and I attend Florida Atlantic University, and I'm a senior with the major of communications.
And tell me what happened that day.
That day, which was October 23rd, 2013, of course, I walked into the library just to rent a laptop for my studies. It was my first time renting a laptop, but I knew I had to have my ID, which I use my ID for everything on campus. The ID, of course, I had since I first attended the school, initially started the school, which was March of 2012. I went to rent the laptop. I went to the media center in the library, spoke with Jean Gers. I handed her my ID. She looked back up at me, and she says, "You look, sound, and act like a girl. Therefore," well, she said, "there's a man in this ID, therefore I'm not giving you this laptop." And she started helping the next girl in line. So I didn't take that very well. I asked her if she was playing around, and she said, "No, I'm serious." I asked her if she was serious, and she said, "No, I'm very serious." And I was just drawn back, like how she reacted to me, how she spoke, and the tone she used as well is just very demeaning and upsetting. I just couldn't believe that she said that to me, so I asked if there was anyone else that could help me. So at the time, another lady walked up. She sided with Miss Gers that she wasn't going to give me the ID. And then at that time, I asked for the supervisor, and the supervisor approached. He was first siding with them, but then I asked if I can, who like was the dean, the director of the library, and they told me Mr. Miller. And as soon as I brought that to their attention, that's when the supervisor said, "Well, I'll just give you the laptop." Well, at that point, I didn't want the laptop. So as I'm speaking with the supervisor, Mr. Ali, Miss Gers butts in and says, "You're just distrustful to white people." I don't know where race came from. I don't know what race had to do with this. But I was drawn back again, like, why is this lady saying all these negative, condescending statements to me over me as a student trying to rent a laptop from her being stabbed? Her only job duty was to just give me the laptop. If she didn't think it was me, she could have asked for a second form of ID, in which she didn't. But she told the student press or university press that she did, which is a lie. The students that were in line witnessed this, as well as the other employees that were in there. So at that time, I do get the laptop because they just gave it to me. And I didn't even want to do my work anymore because I was drawn back, and I don't tolerate this discrimination from anyone, and I'm going to always speak up about it. So again, once again, I'm speaking up about it. I go to Mr. Miller, and I tell him about the situation very briefly, and he laughs, he chuckles, walks out the office, and then comes back in the office. Now, I took offense of him laughing because I didn't see it as a laughing matter. But I mean, I don't know what he was chuckling about. It could have been anything, but I, at that point, being how I felt, took it as if he was laughing at the situation or at me. So I didn't think it was funny. And he apologized. He did say, "I apologize about the situation, and I will address it." Now, that to me wasn't enough. I told him, "Well, who can I talk to that will do something now? Because this isn't, like, that's not enough. I will address it. I've heard that plenty of times, that I will address it, I will address it." I just didn't think that was enough. So he said, "Well, you could talk to the president or the provost." So I said, "Okay, well, I will email them, and I will CC you in it." And he was like, "Okay." And then I said, "Okay, thank you," and I left. I didn't feel that was enough, so I called the president's office. I just called the school, and I was transferred around, and I just felt like I was getting the run around. So I just hung up the phone. Well, they transferred me to Miss Paula B. Hewell, the EOP dean or director, and she invited me to come meet with her, which I met with her that Monday, which was the 30th of October. And she, I think it was the 28th actually. It was the 28th I met with her. She informed me of like all the policies and procedures that we have against anti-discrimination in the pamphlet that the university holds. And she did say that gender expression and gender identity was not one that was listed in there, but race plays a big part in this, and so does sexual orientation, because as we were in there speaking, Miss Gers threw her hands up like this, like, and she was like, because I called her ignorant, I was like, you're very ignorant. You should not be working here. That is not how you treat a student. And she threw her hands up and very irate and demeaning and being sarcastic, which is very unprofessional to me. She threw her hands up and she was like, oh, I'm irate, I'm ignorant, and if you had not looked or sound like a girl, you would have the laptop. Now that is just something, again, one, it could be a form of bullying, and that's something I definitely don't tolerate. And as well as she's demeaning the LGBTQ community. You cannot demean any student, especially being a professional, and I didn't expect that to come from her working here at the FAU University where they strive for diversity, and it just didn't make any sense to me. So I called WPTV. I had an interview with them, and it aired on the news. I just was getting the awareness out there because the school does not act fast enough. And they tried to claim in the media that they gave me an immediate apology from the school. Well, no. One of the faculty members, the dean of the library, did apologize for the situation, but he wasn't even there. He was just apologizing for what he went off by what I said. He didn't even know what he was apologizing for. He's just going off of what I said. So, I mean, the supervisor was in front of us. His name was Badara. He goes by Ali. And I think he should have apologized. The whole school should be apologizing as a school in its entirety. They also need to address their anti-discrimination pamphlet and add in there gender discrimination and expression, like the other schools in North Florida, Northern Florida. I'm surprised that South Florida doesn't have it, and this is the most diverse part of Florida. I'm just very distraught. I can't, I don't know. I'll move on to the next question.
And how does this affect the LGBTQ community?
Well, it affects them it affects them a lot. For one, it demeans us as a whole, speaking down on us. I mean, I can relate to the LGBTQ community, of course, and as being a part of them, we've been through a lot as a whole, and it affects us in many ways. We don't have any rights. If say I was in there dressed up in drag or dressed as a girl, but I'm a man, who cares if I match my ID? What is the big deal? So it affects us fully, like a lot. What is the next question you have?
And how does this make you feel, and what do you want to do about it in the future?
It makes me feel very upset, emotional, distressed. But at the same time, it does give me the urge. Granted, I did feel and do still feel let down by my university, but it does give me the urge to reach out, show awareness, and to help someone. This story could help someone else. I also am doing expressing awareness, trying to get worldwide, just so it can help students that are matriculating after I leave. Because who knows that this won't happen again to someone else. So I'm trying to prevent this from happening in schools within this community and within this world, because it's not right and it's wrong. So I plan to change that. I also am working with the gender difference in, I can't even talk right now, I'm sorry, in the dorm rooms. So I'm just working with a lot of things, but my first plan is to have this added into the anti-discrimination pamphlet. And that's the first thing I want, as well as an apology from the school in its entirety. She needs to be reprimanded and trained. They need to have more safe training. I believe the safe training needs to be required for every employee, because that is very important.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.